Okay, I think two level of matching option that we have seen. So that is matching with the purchase order document. So that is what we have seen, I think, in the last session. So,
Yeah, we started three-way matching. Then okay,
okay,
system was not available, so we stopped it.
okay,
Uh, and we discussed on catalog and non-catalog and
okay, okay,
categories and all that stuff. Yeah,
okay. Then probably I think we have completed two ways, so then we started three way, I think so.
yeah,
So,
we started three-way. Two-way
okay,
we completed. Three-way we
okay,
started.
okay, fine. So probably in terms of three-way matching, so I'll just explain this. So that is starting from
Yeah, you
purchase
explained
ledgers.
that theory part. Okay.
Okay,
Now you started doing it in the system, and system was very slow on that day, and
okay,
it was not responding.
okay, okay, fine. I'll just start with this thing. Okay, so in terms of yeah, in terms of configurations, so we have
Yeah.
already seen it. So whatever the options that we have seen. So in terms of requisition, business function, and the approval rules, so those remain same. So it is
Mm.
only the options that is at what level we wanted to basically match our invoice. Okay, so that is what it is. And also we have seen at what level we can set this matching options.
Mm.
Okay. So one is that the line a line type that we can do, okay, and the other one is that we have this receiving parameters. Probably
Yeah.
I'll go to this and I'll show this option, and then we can go to the transaction. Okay. So we have something called receiving parameter. So in this case, I will take 410. Okay, so this is the one that I'll be taking for this demonstration. Okay, so this is where we actually mention if I wanted to create it using the standard receipt
Mm.
or I wanted to have it as a direct delivery. So direct delivery, we have seen it. So it is a scenario where I'll create only the receipt, but I will not record the delivery process. So that
Okay.
is about the direct delivery. So standard receipt is something that I will create the delivery process also. So
Okay.
addition to that, if I want to have the inspection, so this is basically four-way matching. Okay. So
Yeah.
four-way matching, after this we'll talk about it. So for now, we'll have this as an standard receipt. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll just change this to standard reset and we'll do this reset entry. Okay, but before that, what are the options that we have it in the receiving parameter reset? There are certain controls that we can do. So first thing is that ship to exception action.
Mm.
So if there is any change in the ship to location, so do we want to basically want the system or reject this transaction, or I don't want to take any action? So that is about this. And ASN is basically the advance shipment notice. So this will work for certain scenario wherein, let's say I am basically manufacturing, let's take an example of automobile. So
Yeah.
in automobile, so probably I might need certain raw materials, including the nut and bolts. Okay. So now this probably I might have this intensive manufacturing process, so I will not be able to accommodate this delays in the transaction. So if this is the date that is committed by the vendor,
Mm.
so then I will need this particular shipment to be delivered on that particular date. Okay, so for that, whether I want to have the warning, so that's the control that we have it here.
Okay.
Okay. And then these are basically the early receipts or the late receipts. So early receipts will be the scenario wherein I have a calculator or I have derived my forecasting
Mm.
for the item movement based on the square feet or the area that I have in terms of inventory
Yeah.
location. So if I have, let's say, 1,000 square feet, So
Mm.
then I will have to consider my previous transactions or the previous item stored in this particular place, and
Okay.
accordingly I'll have to plan. So now if I am getting this particular item as early, so I might not be able to accommodate it because I have already planned that till this date I will have this raw material in this particular location. So probably after this date I will move this to the probably the in progress sub inventory. Okay, so that is the thing that I will have. So now whether I can give this tolerance, which means that if this receipt is received early, so let's
Mm.
say earlier than 3 days. So whether
Mm.
I'll be able to accommodate it or not. So that's the option that we are giving here. So if I don't give it here as a tolerance, so I'll not be able to receive on an early date, whatever the
Okay.
date that is committed. So late reset, of course, we can understand. So late reset is something that I have. So vendor has committed to deliver on 10th of January, but then it is 13th of January which I'm receiving the items. Okay, so that's about it.
Early
And
receipt tolerance is
yeah,
based on the schedules, whatever we are giving. How it
schedules meaning it is, so there are 2 days, right? So one is that we requested for it and
yeah.
what vendor has committed. So this date, what we are referring to is vendor committed date.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Is there any
and yeah,
determination based on the PO or whatever schedules we are giving to them for the delivery, or
correct.
just okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
I,
yeah.
okay.
So when we basically release this purchase order, when we handle this invoicing part,
Mhm.
so there are two things that might happen. Of course, this will be determined based on the business because
Yeah,
it involves the subscription also. Because there
yeah,
are two things. So one is that I can opt to use the supplier portal wherein supplier can log in and supplier can give us the date, what date he will be delivering the items.
yeah.
And the other process is that probably I'll have this communication offline because I don't have this supplier portal subscription. So what I will do is that I'll get this information through an email or the phone communication.
Mm.
And then when I'm creating this purchase order, I'll input this information as a promise date. So now this promise date is the date which system will consider in terms of checking this tolerance limit.
Okay.
But if we have the supplier portal which is implemented, then
Mm.
supplier will verify the purchase order and supplier will say that this is the date that I can deliver. So those
Mm.
information will be synced from the supplier portal. So
Okay.
if we don't have it, basically we will have this field called promise date. So this promise date will be used to arrive this tolerance days.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Okay.
Yeah, and this is like action. So if it is receipt date exceeded, so what should we do? So that's about it. And again, the over receipt is, let's say the quantity is 10, but if I'm receiving 11, so what should I do? So I mean, what's the tolerance quantity that I can have? And if there is over receipt, then what should I do? Whether I should proceed with the warning or reject the transaction. Okay, so that is about it. And then we have this one. So this is what we have seen, that is direct, standard, and the inspection. Okay.
Once again,
So
uh,
yeah,
over receipt tolerance, is that a percentage or quantity?
quantity.
Number, right? Okay.
Yeah, number.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think
It's
this
percentage. Yeah.
this is quantity. I think so
It's
because
percentage.
this is days. I don't think it is quantity because
No,
quantity wise is different
it's a
setup. Right?
percentage.
Maybe
Yeah.
if I,
Enter the percentage of quantities that can be
yeah, yeah,
received
right.
in
This is
excess of
percentage
quantity.
only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a percentage.
Okay. Yeah, and then we have something called inspection plan, so which will be created
Mm.
in our inventory module basically. So there we have these plans that is set up. So
Mhm.
if I want to use this inspection plan, so then I can do this. So this is basically for this option. So if I say
Mm.
inspection required, so then
Okay.
I'll have to use this. So then I'll have to use this quality inspection plan. Okay, so if I'm not using, so if I'm using standard or direct, I'll not this option. So that is about this one.
Okay.
Okay. And then substitute reset is something. So this will happen in a scenario where I don't know exactly the item that is being received, because there will be a certain scenario wherein I will have to create this purchase order and I'll have to create this put away receipt. Okay, but this receipt will be tagged with the purchase order at later point in time. So probably I might have invoiced also, but after invoicing, I will create this receipt, but this
Mm.
will not be linked with any purchase order. This will be linked at later point in time. Okay, so that is the case of allow substitute receipts.
Visits. Okay.
And unordered receipt, again, if I don't have this matching purchase order, so
Mm.
then I can use this option of having it. So
Okay.
the slight difference between the substitute receipt and unordered receipt is that, so in terms of creating the receipt, it is the same process that will be doing it, but
Mm.
this will be tagged to the purchase order at later point in time, and this will be linked with the invoice. So that's the difference between both the options. So this
Okay.
will be a scenario where I might want to receive the items probably from the vendor at now, because what will happen is that, so I might have ordered this item off the system, but
Mm.
then I'll not be able to release the purchase order immediately, because today I got this forecast saying that I might require 12 quantities instead of 10 quantities. So what I will do is that I will increase this, but probably not exactly to this particular purchase order. So if I have to edit this purchase order, again this will be a changed order. Okay, so that's the option of unordered receipts, which means that more than the quantity what I have ordered.
Okay.
Okay. And then blind receiving is an option wherein I can say this receiving. So there are two kind of receipts. So one is that put away receipts. So put away receipt is something that I will create this particular receipt and push this item to the inventory. So that is the option of having the put away receipt. So we'll see how to create that put away receipt, and we also have this expected shipment. Okay, so this blind receiving is nothing but without reference transaction. If I want to create the delivery or the receiving transaction, so I can do this enforce, but I haven't used this option. I know only about the theoretical part of it, but in terms
Okay.
of functionality, it is about this. Okay. And then this is nothing about the receipt receiving program that system will run. So this will basically print this. So there
Mm.
is a program which will run. So it could be a scheduled process or it could be a manual process which we can run. So
Mm.
this will basically print the receipts that we are creating. Okay, so that's about the print receipt traveler. So if I
Okay.
enable this option, so probably I can print the receipt that I'm creating in the system.
Okay.
Okay, and then include the closed purchase order for receipts. So there will be certain scenario wherein, so there are two types of purchase order closure, because one is the standard one wherein if I have matched this purchase order completely, let's say I have booked 10 quantities, so I have matched this 10 quantities completely,
Mm.
so this purchase order will be in the status of closed. And the
Okay.
other scenario is that I might want to close this purchase order manually, which I don't want system to do it. So probably whatsoever the reason it may be, maybe I don't have future transaction, or probably I might have had some dispute with this particular vendor. So I don't want to take this purchase order further. I wanted to have this as undisputed. Okay, so in that case, the purchase order status will be closed. Okay, so now if I want any user, so by mistake, if this has happened, that is, this purchase order is closed, but then I cannot wait to release this particular purchase order because I might want to get approval and all those things, but I don't want to wait till that approval process completes. So instead, I wanted to create the receipts. So then I can enable this option called include closed purchase order for receipt. So this again the business call. So whether I wanted to include this option or I don't want to have this, because if I want to have control in terms of having the receipts created only for the open purchase orders, then I can disable this option or do an uncheck. If not, if I want to give an option of creating the receipt for the closed purchase order also, then I can enable this option. Okay. And then allow routing override is something that if I am creating this particular purchase order wherein I want to override, so let's say here I have given it as direct, but then I don't want to use the use the direct routing. I wanted to use the standard routing. So then if I enable this option, I'll be able to override it. Okay. So that's about this option. Okay. And then this is about processing the purchase orders. So let's say I have multiple lines in the purchase order. So whether I wanted to process all the lines together or I wanted to process it by individual lines. So let's say I have ordered for four raw materials. So now I'm receiving, let's say, four raw materials. So now I wanted to process together or I'll create separately for each raw material that I am receiving. Okay, so if I enable this option, which means that I'll be able to process or create the receipt for the purchase order lines that is created in the system. Okay, so that is this option. Okay. And then if there is a return transaction, so then if I want to basically print, so print is nothing but viewing the output of that particular document. Okay, so that's about it. So there could be a scenario wherein I might return this quantity because so in this case, probably I'm doing delivery and in terms of uh, agreement. So if I have certain terms and condition with the vendor, so I might have option to return or I might not have option to return. But in terms of inspection, I will send this particular item to the quality department and they will give me the concurrence. Okay, so that is when I'm going to create this particular invoice. So now, if that is happening, so there might be a possibility that I might return certain items to the vendor. So for this return, whether I want to print this particular document or not. So that is the option that we are having it here. Okay. And then this is again the printing option, this and this. So this is for the scenario of drop shipment. So drop shipment is a scenario where I will not complete my what do you call the complete flow of sales or the purchase transaction, but instead I will just have this particular order delivered in a place where I can pick the items and further I can process it for my raw material added to the inventory. Okay. So this will be a scenario where I will have a common place to deliver the items, and from there I'll have to again do one movement request to move this particular item from this inventory to the sub inventory or the actual processing or the manufacturing place where the actual manufacturing takes place. Okay, so so that's the drop shipment. So if it is the drop shipment orders that is created in the system, so whether I wanted to print it. So this drop shipment involves both the sales and the purchase activity because it starts from there and again the requisition will be created automatically in the system. Okay, so now for this drop shipment, whether we wanted to print the document is the option of this. Okay. And then we have again the printing option for the material returns that we are doing it. So this is this is most often transfer between the entity. Okay, so probably if I'm returning this particular quantities to its unit, okay, then I wanted to whether print this particular document or not is this particular option of enabling written material authorization.
Okay.
Okay. And then these are like publishing the business event, so this is understandable. And the next option is basically if I wanted to have the default lot and serial number. So lot is basically the batch that we are referring to here. So if we take any product, so basically we'll have this batch number. So this batch number is what we are referring to the lot. Okay, and under this batch number I will also have the serial number. So the serial number is unique to this product. So lot probably could be the duplication in terms of managing the inventory, because let's say I'm manufacturing the soaps. Okay, so now I will have one lot, or I'll have one batch. In one batch I will have 1,000 soaps that is manufactured. So now, if I want to track this particular item, so I have one thing is that I have this item number, so that is one thing, so which system generates. But then to this particular product, if I want to track it, I will have something called serial number and barcode. So
Yeah.
now this serial number will be tagged with a barcode. So when
Mm.
we receive the item in the inventory, so we will have this barcode attached with the serial number. So
Mm.
now if I scan this, of course we have this integration. So we'll have to build it in the PaaS application, and we'll have to get this to the Oracle standard application. Okay, but then in terms of system functionality, so if I scan this, automatically the serial number will be attached to this particular item. So based on the, of course, the serial number is system generated. So we will have the option in the inventory. So when we create this inventory organization, so we have option of basically giving or setting the sequence. So if I want to have profits, so let's say I want to have the profits of AST. So
Mm.
after this, I want to have the unique number, so I can do it. So this number is generated based on the configuration that we are doing, but attaching this serial number with the barcode and these things are handled in the past development. Okay, so using
Okay.
that, if I scan this, basically this serial number is attached to that, and so this will help us in terms of tracking the item, because if any item is moving out of the inventory or out of this manufacturing unit, so I
Yeah.
will scan this. So I know exactly where, from where this item is shipped, and also I'll be able to track where this item is being received. If it is not received, I will know what is the lead time for this particular transaction. It could be in transit. So if it is within the state, okay, so probably it might take 1 day or 2 day, but probably if it is across the state, it is from Tamil Nadu to Delhi. So then I know that this is the lead time it will take. So I would be able to track it to some extent. So that's the
Yeah.
purpose of having barcode. And if I want to basically sync it with the serial number, so this is the option that I can track. So using this, we can also build this warranty and the other information, but then this warranty is managed at a different product. Okay, so but then in terms of capturing the serial number, so this is where we'll set this option. So this will allow us to in terms of defaulting the lots and serial number from the ASN basically.
Okay.
Okay, and then this is for the transfer order basically. So again, for between the inventory organization, if I
Mm.
want to do it again, if I want to default the lot and serial number, it's the same option but for the different
Okay.
transaction. Okay, and then the receipt number. So this is where basically you'll set the receipt number. Okay, so here I can say it is usually the automatic, but in terms of system specification, so we also have the option of manual, but
Okay.
most of the implementations it is only the automatic that I have seen. Okay, the numbering sequence, I can set it up here. Okay. So this cannot be alphanumeric because it's not similar to the serial number or something like this.
Yeah.
We will not be able to use it. It is only the numeric. If you see here, so you'll see only the numeric. Okay. And these are the options that we have seen. Okay. And lot validation, if I want to do, so probably I can say restricted with warning or I can say restricted. Okay. So this is basically validating this lot and the serial number. So that's this option. Okay. Okay. So this is, so these are the options and controls that we have in the receiving parameters. Okay. So So after this, the requisition business functions we have seen and the approval also we have seen. Okay. So we can straight away go to the screen where we can create the requisition. Okay. So for today, the flow will be something like this. So we will have this requisition that is created. Okay. So I have two flows that is pending with me. So for now, I'll cover this requisition. From requisition, I'll convert it to purchase order, and this purchase order will be created with a receipt, and this receipt is the document that I will use to match with my invoice. Okay, so this is what I have planned for today. So the next flow, what we have is that the negotiation. So that is request for quotation. So if I want to probably compare with a different vendor's price, so I have option of comparing vendor's quotation. So RFQ, I can compare it and I can avoid the negotiation. So that I have planned as part of four-way matching. Okay, there we'll plan this, and there I'll have to show this one also, the inspection options. So if I want to inspect this particular purchase order, so then how I can inspect it. So that is also there. Okay. So to create this particular I mean to see this option. So first thing that is that I will need option of the procurement agent. So which means that this user, that is SaaS implementation one, should have been created as the procurement agent. So this is one thing. And second thing is that procurement requested. So this role should be assigned to this particular user. So these are the two prerequisites. I'm not sure if this is created. So if not, probably yeah, I don't think the procurement agent is created. So let me check if it is not created. I'll just create one. So procurement agent, we have seen it already,
Yeah.
but to complete this activity, I'll just do quickly one procurement agent.
Mm.
So manage user. So it is source IMPL. Okay, so I'll just link the user that we have. So this user is, I think, source.impl. Yeah, this is the one, IMPL one. So I'll have to create this person as employee and associate with the legal entity. Yeah, that is US1 legal entity, and the business unit is US1 business unit. Okay, so I'll just say save and close. And next step is to create the procurement agent. So this is US1 business unit, and it is SaaS. SaaS is the user that we just created, and this is US1 business unit. Okay. And these are the controls. So I'll just give full access. Yeah. So next one is to check if the role is assigned. So I'll take this user, that is SaaS implementation 1. Yeah, the role is not assigned. So let me add the procurement to my requisition roles. Okay, so the roles are given. So I'll just give the access to the entity. Okay, so the roles are also given. So just run the synchronization process. Or maybe I'll try to log out and log in once.
Oh, yeah.
So this will get refreshed. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, IMP1, I think. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here, see, so here basically there are two things. So as I said, so first we'll look at the non-catalog items, okay, and then we will create the catalog item. So catalog item is something similar to this. So for which I will need to give this procurement catalog administrator role also. So
Mm.
which will open up another option. So in the procurement work list. So
Okay.
there I'll be able to create the catalog
Mm.
and associate the purchase order, I mean the purchasing or the inventory category that we created
Mm-hmm.
and associate the items there. Okay, and after that, what we will have to do is that so we'll have to create the hierarchy to build this one thing, and the other thing is that so we have something called smart forms and the information templates basically. So based
Okay.
on that, we can build these options.
Mm.
So there are two options that we have. So one is that managing inside Oracle application. So which
Mm.
means that if I want to search based on this, let's say if I want to search based on this office supplies, so then what I will do is that I'll say this is my category, and for this, if I want to add the items, so using that I can do it. So these items which are listed under this particular category office supplies. So I
Mm.
will associate those items to this particular bucket. Okay. So this is one option. So that is managing inside Oracle Fusion. So we have something called punch out. So punch out catalog is a scenario where I will redirect this particular application to. So let's say I'm integrating with Flipkart or Amazon. Okay,
Mm.
so in this case, or Walmart. So in this case, what I will do is that, so I will give this is the link that system should take me through. So now, of course, we have the technical component also here, but in terms of setting up the system, in order
Mhm.
to access this, so we have option to give this the link or
Mm.
this address. So
Mm.
using that, if I open this, so
Mm.
it will automatically take me to this particular e-commerce site. It could be the Flipkart or Amazon. So
Yeah.
there I can select the option or I can add it to my cart. Okay, from there I will add it to my shopping list.
Yeah.
So this is again the setup.
Yeah.
That is, I can create my own shopping list, the public shopping list we call it. Okay. So from there, if I want to get the data, so I'll be able to do it. Or if I'm creating this as an in application, so then I can select the items from this list. So
Mm.
this will basically stays only as an categorization. Under this categorization, I will have certain items that I can select and I can add to the cart. So which I can see it here. Okay. So this is the option. So this option of creating the catalog and then picking it from the list. So this we'll see as part of four-way matching. So for now, what we are going to see is that non-catalog item that is without the catalog. So I'm just selecting the item and I'm creating this particular requisition. Okay. Okay. So I'm just saying this is the location that I wanted the item to be delivered. Okay. If I'm doing this for a particular project, I can give the project information. If not, I can just leave this as blank. Okay. And then if I want to set the charge account, the default charge account, so I can set the default charge account. Or if I will select it at the time of creating the this thing, so I can do it. So charge account is basically, so what is the expense that I'm booking for? So I'm not sure the exact account that we have. So for time being, I'll just take this rent account, but we can supply with the actual expense account.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just take, or I'll say office equipment rental, and I'll say okay, and do save and close. Okay, so here I'll just say this is rental. Okay, and the category I'll just give it as miscellaneous, and unit of measure is each,
Mm.
and the price is, let's say, $5,000. Okay, and negotiation I'm not enabling at this point because negotiation will cover it as part of four-way matching. Okay, so if I say enable negotiation, which means that this will consider also the RFQ,
Mm.
request for quotation. So I'll have to create the quotation and then I'll have to compare between the suppliers, and then I'll convert this particular RFQ
Okay.
into a purchase order. So which will cover it as a next this thing. So I'll say I'll leave this option as a blank. Okay,
Oh,
and then if I want to create this supplier as a new, because because there will be certain scenario where I will not have regular transaction with the supplier, so I, and also I don't want to wait till the supplier is created in the system. So for which I can say create or the new supplier, which where I can create the supplier details. So these are like the basic details that I'm creating, or if I have the supplier already created in the system, so I can pick the supplier that is created, but this supplier is not mandatory, so this is completely optional. So if I want to give, I can give, or I can just create without the without the supplier, and I can attach the supplier details when I create the purchase order. Okay, so that is also possible that I can do it. And again, the attachment is again optional. If I want to probably attach any document
yeah.
in order to reviewed by the purchase department, then I can attach it here. Okay, so I'll just say add to cart. So this will be added to the cart. So where I can review the requisition that system has created. Okay, so that will again flow through the approval process. So let me just check if the approval is there, because this instance got refreshed. So let me check once. Okay, so I can just say review. If I say submit, which means this will be submitted for approval.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it will look like. So these are the basic information that we have provided. So this is the charge account that system has picked up based on the information that we gave. So before creating this requisition. Okay,
Correct.
but then as I said, that is not mandatory. If I'm not using that, so I can fill the information here, or if I have already given this default charge account, and if I want to change it, so here I don't have the second charge account that is created, but if I have second charge account also created, I can select from this list. So accordingly this charge account will be changed. Okay,
What is that manage when we are creating that manage requisition? One option was there in the
okay,
requisition. Well, that alone just explain.
okay, just a moment. I'll just close this one for now.
Yeah, just close it. Yeah.
Okay, this,
Manage requisitions. Yeah. What is the use
yeah,
of it?
yeah, manage requisition is something to check
Just
if
to
I
receive and
already,
mm,
yeah, if I have already created the requisition and if I want to query, so in this case, the requisition that we created is this. So if I want to query this using this, so I can use this option. So this is similar to the invoice query screen
Yes,
which
yes,
we
yes,
have. So
yes, yes.
probably,
Okay, okay, okay. Correct.
yeah. Yeah, so that is this option, and here in the more task, so I will have the option to enter the lines, so which I did not give it right now because I wanted to show this with non-catalog and the next one with it. So there will see the additional line, which is basically to enter the lines with the catalogs. Okay, so that is the additional line that we have, and non-catalog just now we created it. Okay,
Yeah.
and then this is the
Yes.
request for the new supplier creation so that we can do it using this option. Okay, and then this is the preparer and the requester information that if I want to update it, so that
Mm.
will be there. So because this is derived based on the standard setup that we have done. But then from there, if there is any change in the organization, I wanted to update the preparer and the requester. So I can do this. So I can simply say
Mm.
update the requester, so which will update the request. So this is kind of an scheduled job that we can do it, so which
Mm.
will update the this thing. So you can do it here, or you can go to the scheduled job and do
Okay.
this updation. Okay. So this is one thing, and similarly, if I want to basically update the preference, so as I said, if I want to add new this thing, or if I want to tag the default project number, so I can do this. So these are the preferences that we can set it up.
Billing, what is there?
Billing, 1 minute.
Is that preference? Billing. Nothing is
So
there.
billing meaning, I mean, whatever the
Projects. Okay,
information.
okay.
Yeah. So
Additional.
the yeah, correct. So under billing, we will have this project information and the charge account that we are
Okay.
creating.
Okay. Then that will flow to invoice line level also. Okay.
Correct, correct.
Mm.
So for this, we have this transaction account definition. So for requisition, we will not need it, but
Mm.
I think we did not see this transaction account definition. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, so that probably we'll see after this transaction, after this flow, we'll cover it because I thought of covering as part of receiving parameter, but somehow I missed it. So probably after this flow, I'll cover that transaction account definition also. Okay. So that is similar to the SLA things that we do, but not
Yes.
exactly because in SLA we do lot of setups, but here it is only the mapping set account rule and then tagging it with the ledger. Okay, it is the simple setup we have, but I'll just show after this flow.
Mm.
Okay, so these are the options that we have. So probably I'll just open this requisition that we created. Okay, before that, I'll check if the approval rules are in
No,
place.
don't worry about that. No worries.
Yeah,
Okay. That is okay. Submitted. Please,
okay, fine.
go to the next one.
Okay, so I'll just submit this. Okay, let me just check if this is approved.
It's approved.
Yeah, so this is the requisition that we created. I think it is in processing.
I think rules are not there.
Yeah, yeah. Let me just check once if, because if role is not there, so this will get stuck. Oh,
You can make it automatic, right?
yeah, yeah. I'll just set the auto approve.
Yeah, so that
We
it
can
clear.
just, okay. So timing, I'll just
Mm.
disable this and enable the one that we created. I think this is the one.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So I'll just withdraw and submit again.
Yeah, resubmit. Click time it.
Yeah, so this is approved. Okay, so we'll take this requisition number and we'll process the purchase order.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go to the purchase order screen. So I'll say process requisition, and here I'll have to give the purchase the requisition number,
Mm.
and using that I can add to the builder. Okay, so I'll just say this is the requisition number, and
Yeah.
okay, so the buy here is not this. Okay, so I click this and I can say add to document builder. So return or reassign is something that I don't want this requisition to be processed. Okay,
Mm.
so or I wanted to update the information, I'll say reassign, but then I don't want this particular requisition to be processed, so I can say return. But in this case, since we wanted to proceed it further, so I'll just say add to document builder. So here it will show something like an this is the business unit and this is the item that is being requested. Okay, so all those information we can see. So okay, so if we see here, so this is the item. Okay, here we don't have the item because we gave this as a non-catalog item, so we'll see the line description. Okay, and this is the requester. So now here if you see, so this basically determines whether this is an existing purchase order that we are adding to, or
Mm.
we are trying to create a new purchase order. So in our case it is the new purchase order that we are creating,
Mm.
and the source agreement is, so agreement meaning blanket agreement, so that is blanket purchase agreement, so BPA is what we call it. So now if I have certain terms with the vendor saying that I will have sort of transactions with you and this is the amount that I'm agreeing with,
Mm.
so I will use this particular blanket agreement in order to do the purchases. Okay, so I can do the multiple releases, release 1, release 2, release 3. Okay, so that is agreement. But this we will cover it only after the four-way matching. Okay, so for now I'm just leaving this option, but this is about the blanket purchase agreement. So now if I have this blanket purchase agreement, so I can attach here and I can say against this agreement, I'm creating this particular purchase order.
Okay.
Okay. So this we are creating as an standalone purchase order. So I'll just say okay. So which will create the purchase order. Okay. So all I have to do is that just review the information what system has created. Okay. So I'll just say edit. Sorry, I'll just say create. Okay. So which will create the purchase order. So there I can just review the information that I have entered, or probably the other department, that is whoever has requested for the item. So this purchase preparer, I mean the procurement preparer, who will basically review the information and send it for the next level approval. Okay. So once it is approved, so then we will have certain lead days in terms of receiving the items. So when this item is received, so we'll create the receipt in the system. Okay. So okay, so quickly I'll just check if the approval for purchase order is also there, because if that is not there, again, so for purchase order also I'll set it up as auto approved, because we have seen the other options already. So for time being I'll say, so this purchase order also auto approved.
Okay.
this is
That's the IMP1.
yeah. Okay, so I'll just enable this and disable this one. Okay, so we are done with the changes. So just copy this document number, purchase order number. Okay, so based on the information that we have given, so there it is the requester and the buyer both are same. So that's why we are seeing the same name. But in real time, probably the requester might be different and the buyer might be different. So this is basically created based on the login. So now I have created this user, the login that I'm using. So this has been created as the user. So I'm seeing here as a buyer and there as a requester, but the option is same, so it is at what transaction that user is creating only. Okay, so that's the one, and these are the information that we have given already, so based on that system generated this. Okay, and then here if you see, so you'll have the requisition number, so which is an hyperlink. So if I click this, so this will take me to the requisition page, so where I can see the details that is added to the requisition. Okay, so that is one thing. And the line level information, again, this is the information that we have entered here in the requisition. Okay,
Position.
so this
Okay.
is same thing. So I can just open and see the requisition. So since we have already seen that, seeing those fields, so I'll just skip that part. Okay, so these are the information that we have given. So now if we go to the schedule, so here we have this requested date and the promised date. So this promised date is the date actually given by the vendor. So
Yeah.
requested date is the date that we have requested to deliver. Okay. So this is when we are handling this in Oracle application. So we have this option to uh, put it here. So if we have the supplier portal, so this will be populated based on the supplier's input. Okay, so that is about it. So now if I say edit, so I'll be able to see certain additional options. So if I come down, so here I will have to change this to three-way matching and I will match it with the receipt document. Okay. So now this charge account is taken from the source transaction, that is
Yeah.
our requisition. Okay. So the others are basically taken from the setups, the receiving controls, the receiving parameters, the sets T, sets T, all those options. Okay. So I'll just say okay and go to the distribution. So distribution also would have been created already. So I'll
Based
just,
on the charge account. Yeah.
yeah, correct. So I'll just check this. Yeah, it has generated. So I'll just save and submit it for approval. So this approval again we have already set it up. So this should be auto approved.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the purchase order. So I'll just check if it is approved. Okay, so this is not approved yet.
It takes little time.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is approved. So once it is approved, the status will get changed to open. Okay. So now the purchase order is also created. So the next step is to receive the item. Okay. So for which I'll have to go to the supply chain execution. Yeah, it is here. Okay. So here I have this inventory management. So from here I'll have to basically receive the item. So I have option called receive expected shipment. Okay, using that I'll receive. So this is basically based on the access that we have given. So since we have given only to 410, so I'm saying this. Okay. So I'll say receive the item and the purchase order number is this. Just give me a moment. I'll just check if this inventory unit is linked to the business unit. Oh, this is attached with Supremo actually. Okay, I'll just take the one that is attached with this unit. Hmm. Maybe I'll try to do this if this works, maybe.
Location.
Yeah, so this have been casted, so it is not allowing to change.
Location address maybe.
Mm, okay, I'll try to check with the business unit. Okay, maybe I'll take this one. I'll try to get access to this unit. Okay, I'll just try to log out and log in once.
Location, okay, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking. If I have mapped to the
Atlanta organization 002. 315 is Detroit, right?
215.
315. What we are selecting.
Yeah, I think it is gone to the different organization.
No, maybe if we change Atlanta, that will be okay, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, there actually the unit should match exactly.
Mm.
I'll have to just check once. So what is this 002? Because this is linked with this purchase order. So now if I receive the item using this inventory organization only, I'll be able
Yeah.
to basically
Everything.
receive the item.
Yeah, it's Atlanta. Okay. Here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Maybe I'll change the access because this is
Yeah.
also US1 business unit, so I'll just give access to 002.
002.
So this is receiving agent. Okay, so this was this log out and log in. Yeah, so this is the one that we created, that is 164,780. Advanced Crop is the vendor that we gave. So I'll just say search and then receive the item. So I'll just say receive. So here I can, so in our case, we gave only one quantity, but then if I want to probably receive only out of 10, I want to receive 5 or 6, so I can change the quantity here. Okay.
Okay.
And I can say create reset. So this will create the resets in the system. Okay, so this is the reset number. Okay, so the next step is to create the invoice. So this is standard one. Still, I'll just show this process. It is just matching with
The
the
rest.
receipt because the only about the controls or the options that we are selecting. Sorry, in this case, I will give the purchase order. So this is the one. So I'll say match. So again here it is the same quantity. Okay, so this is about self-billing. So if it is self-billing, the invoice will be created automatically. I did not disable that, so that's the option. Okay, so now if I want to probably bill it partially, I can do it. Or if I want to change the price, so this will have effect in invoice price variance. But if I want to change, I have this option. Okay, so similar to the requisition, so we also have the hyperlink to purchase order, receipt, and all those transactions. Okay, so this will give high level information. So we received the quantity, so that's why we are saying as one. So if I have 10 or 8, so I'll have the respective numbers here. Okay, so I'll just save this and we put this on top and I will validate this invoice. So, okay,
Status
the tax amount.
process. Invoice value.
Yeah, so the rest are same process, the accounting and the payment. So whatever we have seen for the other one, so it's the same process.
I have a question here.
Yeah,
In case of two-way matching, okay,
okay,
I'm entering the invoice, there is PO, and automatically data comes in. Okay.
okay,
Okay. After that, okay, as you said, okay, when I'm creating the amount or quantity, it will create a variance, right?
correct.
That variance will go and sit in that account what we define in the tag, right?
Yeah, correct. The
Oh,
invoice price variance. So in
okay,
TAT, so we have this variance account, right? So that is where this will go and sit.
okay, okay. But
Yeah,
when we
fine.
are doing that, is there any impact because of that in AP control accounts?
AP control accounts. When you say control account, so you're referring to
Payables,
the
trade
payable clearing
payables.
account?
Yeah, yeah, trade payables account.
Okay. Exactly which account?
Uh, Trade payables, that is supplier payable account.
Yeah, the liability account you're referring.
Liability. Yeah, correct.
No, there we will not have impact because this liability account is basically picked from either the invoice option or the supplier side. But
Correct.
then if I want to customize this combination, so then I will have to write this SLA. But then this tab that setup that we are doing there, so it's
Mm.
only for the debit line item that we are creating, but this will not have impact in our credit line, that is the
Oh,
liability account.
that is what I. No, because recently I had a problem in like
Okay.
AP versus GL variance. I
Okay.
had a small amount of 500, but I could not
Okay.
find out because there was no drop down drill down.
Okay.
I could not still find out what was the issue. So that's why I asked.
Okay. So so this setup what we are doing is basically for the debit line, but in the credit, in the liability, if we have some variance, so which we can use this option called payable to general ledger reconciliation.
Yeah,
So basically that will give a more understanding for us.
yeah, yeah. That's what I did.
Okay,
Just
there you
to,
are not able to drill down is what you're
yeah,
saying.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Mm, maybe we can try using subledger exception, but that is only for this thing. So
Yeah.
maybe if we run account analysis and this thing, we should be able to track it, I think.
One question I have in
Yeah.
related to that. In case in that particular month when we hold some invoices, whether
Okay.
that it will how it will behave in supplier accounts, it will have any impact.
No, but if we are holding it and if we allow this accounting, even
Hmm.
if it is hold, because in hold we have option to enable the accounting, but if it has accounted, but this is in hold, so
Hmm.
in this case also this should not cause issue because if
Hmm.
I accounted, meaning this transaction is there in
Yeah, it
GL
will go
also.
100%. Otherwise, it will not go.
Yeah,
So that
correct.
will impact on both the sides. So there should
Yeah,
not be any variance.
yeah,
Correct.
this should not be an issue.
Yeah, correct. You're right. Hmm. Sure. Okay.
Okay, any other question?
Yeah, I have some questions. Okay. I told you in earlier also, there is
Okay,
one unit FR like France, and under that,
okay,
okay, I have three legal entities.
okay,
My question was, is there a way to control in invoice creation page
okay,
uh, selected legal entity only to particular user? That is, one is custom role creation, right?
yeah.
Without custom role creation, is there any other option?
Uh, Without that, if we want to do it, so probably we should explore this one. The sandbox option only is what I'm thinking because here, if we see, so we will have the standard one
Mm.
as this one default, but I don't think this will apply in your case because one business unit, but then there are multiple
Legal
this
entity.
one legal entities, right? So even if you select this as the legal entity,
Yeah,
still
that will.
you will be seeing three, I think. Still you will be able to select it, so this will not populate, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this,
There is only one it will have, right?
okay. I mean, you're saying the default itself is not happening.
No, no, no. I'm getting all the three. So
Okay,
actually, for some users, okay, I wanted to restrict certain thing.
okay.
Not only
So,
one user globally for the because it, it, they are using only for general ledger part and closing it. So it goes
okay,
for outsourcing. So I thought of I don't want to close at the same time, but data access, okay, I can
okay,
remove. That's what I did it currently.
okay.
Mm,
And even I could think of only that option because
yeah,
legal entity level controls, if we want to bring it, then
yeah.
I don't see other options. So one is the data access, which you have
Only,
already done. So other
only,
one I can, yeah,
yeah, only in general ledger we can control legal entity level, right?
yeah,
Uh,
correct,
yeah, in this year, okay, if you provide business in one business unit taxes, whatever legal
yeah,
entities under that, okay, it will reflect in user
correct,
will be able to see that. Yeah,
yeah,
yes, and the same thing. Okay, I have a problem in IDR invoices side.
okay,
For example, FR is a BU.
okay,
Okay, what happens is FR BU. Okay, I have created a default one legal entity.
okay,
Okay. Assume that XYZ is a legal entity. X is assigned in business function, that is business unit
okay,
business. So whenever we are sending, scanning an invoice and importing it, by default it will go to the default one.
correct,
When it goes to default one, automatically it will get disabled. So, but actually it is related to different legal entity. So
okay,
users are not able to select the exact one. For that, okay, they need to cancel that invoice again. They will have to do it manually. So I was exploring what I can do for that.
okay. But here,
Mm,
if I mean, what is the option that we have it here? So is it uh, the based on the address and this thing, or we have
no,
this email
email
routing attribute?
routing. Yeah.
Routing attribute. Okay.
And also I did one thing, always create invoices in incomplete status so that
Okay.
it will enable all the fields, but it's not happening for me.
Okay. So incomplete is basically whatever it creates, it will stay. So it's for the actionable items to
Yeah,
have it.
yeah. But my fields are, if all the fields are open, then users will do the corrections and they will submit that invoice. But here
Okay.
the problem is it's getting disabled.
Okay.
And other thing is, okay, if one user is handling only that particular business unit, okay, I can do the assigning based on their
Yeah.
email ID. But
Yeah.
the user is handling multiple BUs. So that also I
Okay.
can.
Okay. So this routing attribute can be explored. But what if, I mean, is it working if we will sending the invoice to this particular email address? So if we give the subject to the business unit, so is that working? I remember long
That,
back I read
that will
something,
work.
but
That will work. Underscore BU,
yeah.
whatever that. No, even in that case, it will go to the business unit, right?
Okay.
Not to the legal entity, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that option also for business units. If it goes to wrong business unit, okay, we can use that option. But legal entity, only option, system will not recognize legal entity and all. So
Correct.
yeah, so only option is I will open that fields for users so that users will have the option to select. That is the only option. Okay, I'm thinking of now.
Okay.
Mm,
Okay. Yeah, even I couldn't think because this access will work based on the business
yeah,
unit, but then legal entities, I don't think will be able to do it.
yeah.
Yeah, because the way that Oracle has designed this also basically based on the business unit, so I don't think we have option at LE.
Yeah, yeah. Only thing is, okay, yeah, we cannot do that for IDR. At least for role access, okay, we can provide custom role,
Correct.
but IDR we cannot do it because it comes from, as we are assigning legal entities, so that time it's not to ledger also. So
Yes.
everything will get tagged. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay. Sure. So maybe we'll close for
Yeah,
today.
for today, and we'll
And,
continue tomorrow. What
yeah,
about you?
sure.
Do you have any? Are you free or busy during Pongal?